There's quite a bit of people here that I haven't marked. Should just.
Oh, don't worry about it. If you don't want to do it for the
Yeah.
video, it's all good.
Yeah, might not do here. 6-9. Nope. I would open it actually if it wasn't opened.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mark for this particular video. It's just gonna be a waste of time, I think. 6 deuce as well. Yeah.
All right, so that's definitely something we can open. Yeah.
6 deuce on us. Okay.
Yeah. So if you sit out, we can talk about your small blind versus big blind range. So yeah, small blind versus big blind. We're basically opening. I'll even write this down.
Let me see if I have it here. These are kind of my opening ranges for small blind. Yeah, this is what I open for small blind.
Okay. Well, no, you can open it like much wider in 2NL.
Sweet.
Yeah, so you can actually open every Broadway. So every Jack 2. You can also open every everything that makes a straight. So 10, 6, 9, 5, 8, 4, 7, 3, 6, 2. And then anything that is any flush, like any suited. Any
suited, basically.
Yeah. So you're basically not opening like that little triangle down the bottom of 10-5 off to 10-2 off. And then 10-5 off to 7-2 off. It's like, you're only not opening 12 hands or something.
Okay, so that's like pretty much opening everything at that point. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That might take a little bit to get used to, but yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it's definitely much wider. So that's what I'm doing at the moment as well, and it seems to be working pretty well. And then what sizing are you doing, small blind versus big blind?
2.5. I'm pretty much always doing 2.5.
Okay, so we're gonna up that to 3, because we're
6.
Yeah, because people just aren't calling 6 as much as they're calling 2.5, and because we're opening more, we just don't want people to call as much. Because they're not used to it, right? They're used to seeing everyone open 2.5, and then when the small blind opens 3, they're like, probably got something. I'm just gonna fold. So they fold a lot of their range compared to what they would normally.
So I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of make them fold out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to defend Jack 5 offsuit against the button open.
Yeah, and then you can open like 2.5 for your better hands if you want them to call, like Queen Jack or something.
Okay, so like if you want to get them to call, you open up a bit smaller, so it gives a bit more of an incentive.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So what's your? Yeah. What are your opening ranges? Because I think you might be too wide at the moment for 2NL.
Sure.
So I say that after asking you to open like 90% of hands on the small blind.
Yeah.
But let's have a look.
So here is my button opening.
Let me just check mine. I'll send you my ones as well. Because I've been working on these ones specifically for 6 max 2NL for like the whole month. Like they've changed and now they've solidified. So that's your button, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it looks quite a bit wider than mine. So I don't open 9-7 suited.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't open 10-7 suited. I'll just send you mine because it's basically I'm not opening. Yeah, like maybe there's about 20 hands there that I'm not opening. From King 4, Jack 6, 10-7, 9-7, and then down to 5-3 suited and 4-3 suited. I'm not opening.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a little bit tighter, but not too much tighter.
Okay, so this is my cutoff.
Let me have a look. Yeah, again, mine's just a lot tighter. Not opening King 8 suited, and not opening Jack 10 off or Queen 10 off. Just a little bit tighter. Hijack. Jack 9. Yeah, mine's a little bit tighter again. It's okay. And
then this would be like, I guess you're under the gun,
yeah.
Low Jack, right? Let me just zoom in.
Under the gun. Yeah, again, mine's like a little bit tighter. But I'm opening all pocket pairs as well. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'll send you my ranges. They're not very much different, but it's I think it's important just to play super tight in 2NL because like we want to utilize like the time we make the most money is the times that we have a better kicker. Like, I mean, that's one of our money makers. Like, and so if we're opening too wide, it means we're getting less of those opportunities to have a better kicker.
Do you think that it's also do you not think that it's better to open wider on the button to have a better opportunity to steal? Because I find that they overfold sometimes on the blinds. They don't defend them as much as they should be, I feel.
I actually think that the the big blind is actually over calling into an L, and so they don't actually overfold. It's very like that's what it feels like, and we actually make a lot of money.
What it is.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's basically what it is. Maybe that's the biggest issue that I'm having because in 9 max, it's like they're folding all day. I find so maybe that is the reason. Because that's maybe because these ranges work so well for me for 9 max, which is what I started out with.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe maybe you're right. So yeah, now that I think about it, you're right. They definitely overcall their big blind. I can't believe I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they
right.
They
yeah, you're 100% correct. Yeah, this because in 6 max is like a bit different. Yeah. Okay.
All right, I sent you my ranges as well.
Sweet. All right, I'll take a look.
And yeah, I think. Yeah, no, that's totally right. I think we actually make most of our money off of the big blind because that's how 2-0 players play, right? They're overcalling the big blind, but they're also overcalling their marginal hands. They're overvaluing their hands. So I think the big blind is actually where we make the most money. So when we open like from any position, because we're playing tighter, big blind's calling. They're overfolding when they don't hit, and then they're also overcalling when they do hit. If that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure actually. I was thinking about it today. I think big blind is who we make the most money off. We make a lot less money off of 3-betting and stuff like that for sure.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and the reason that is we make less money on 3-betting is because people are still overcalling. And the problem is that when we 3-bet, we're still missing 33% of the time, but when we're not hitting stuff, right, and people are overcalling and the pot's really big, it makes it very difficult for us to make decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fold King 5 suited here. I do know some people opt out to basically call any King suited for a chance that you kind of overflush people.
Yeah.
I do open any ace and any King suited.
Yeah.
On the button. Yeah, that's usually it. Now that he's betting small here, he's a bit of a fisher opponent. I don't really have anything to really fight with here. Actually, this is to what I found out to be indicative of them actually having a flush draw when they kind of bet small like this.
Okay.
So that's kind of from my sample size that I found out is basically when they bet small, they're usually kind of trying to get a flush draw in there. But unfortunately, I don't have anything to really fight back with at this time.
I don't mind calling or folding for sure. Folding most of the time as well.
Yeah. And the small blind King 8, I'm not going to be calling here. I'm going to fold.
I wouldn't worry too much about talking about ranges anymore because I'm pretty confident that your ranges are pretty good as well.
Okay.
Let's just talk about more player types, like who's who's calling us, who's opened.
Sure. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll defend here. So we'll check to him. And at this point here, he didn't really see bet. I'm putting him on a range of smaller pocket pairs, actually similar to King, Queen Jack type of hands like I have, which are kind of blocking. So maybe 10-9, 9-8 type of hands. I think we can get away here with c-betting, or actually not c-betting, but betting here. We should be able to get some folds. We do get called by smaller pocket pairs and flush draws, which do get there. So I'm gonna give up at this point.
He's got a lot of King X here.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah. You're right.
So if you want to set out this hand, because that's a really good hand, we can. Okay. Sweet. So you're totally right about all the lower cards. Like he's got a lot of things that missed. But most people bet their flush draws, right? They'll bet their draws. He's betting, if he's open 2-5 or 2-3, he's betting there. If he's got a ace, he's betting there. And sometimes if they have pocket pairs, they're betting anyway because they love pocket pairs. But most of the time here, if he's actually got something, he's checking back a king. He's and so yeah, if he's got the flush draw, he's probably betting as well. So and you can sort of blanket and be like, people bet flush draws because they do. And if it does happen again, it's in the 3 to 5% range or whatever it was of people that also trap. Because it's basically him trapping if he's not betting his flush draw here. And yeah, so it's like people are going to be betting flush draws. Then they're not all the time. I'm going to say most of the time, again, maybe 90% of the time, not going to be betting on a king.
Okay.
Right? And so if we can put him on that range, we can just say, okay, he's betting off all those things. So that means if we can fold him off a king, then we're pretty much golden. Like some of the times people are sticky and you can't fold them off kings, but you can see pretty fast if they're going to fold or not, based on like say if you're like, okay, I'm going to size up to maybe I'm gonna bet kind of small here, and then on the river I'm gonna bet bigger. So 6 or 5, and then on the river we bet 20 to look big.
So then you basically try to exploit him by folding a king out. Okay,
exactly.
I see.
Yeah,
like
or exactly. Or so when the 6 comes, he doesn't have a flush. So in this situation, we can actually bet less. We can bet 18 to 20 is what I would bet here. But if the 6 didn't come, we would bet maybe. Sorry, if the heart didn't come through, we could bet maybe 24. So it's like very slight overbet, but it makes it look way scarier. Like just even a very small overbet makes it look very, very scary. And we don't want to spend too much money on it. So it's like we don't want to be betting like 30 as a rounded number to be super scary. Because that, again, remember on the river, rounded numbers look bluffy. So 24 as an overbet looks super scary. If he's got a king, he's going to think we have an ace or a flush, and he's not going to call. Most of the time, like say 95% of the time. So we make a lot of money in those situations. Let me just write some of that stuff down. So yeah, because I wasn't writing in the notes. So let me just let's just go through a couple of things that we talked about before. I'm going to write this one down first. So when people check back instead of c betting, I should say players. Most, we'll just say a lot of second pair, that's pretty much it. They've got a lot of second pairs. People are, and then you can say when players are c-betting, so c-betting flop, they can have anything. However, when players are c-betting the turn, they've got something.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that statement. Yeah, that's what I found out in my sample so far too.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep, for sure. Right, and a lot of the time when they're c-betting the turn, it means that they've got we can say they've got something like top pair or a draw, because they're not really going to be c-betting their second pairs still. They're mainly going to be c-betting their top pairs or their draws. And a lot of the time, but basically what that means though, right, is, and I see a lot of people make this mistake actually, is that they try and get them to fold on the turn when I've got a draw myself on the turn. But if they're c-betting the turn, they're repping top pair or a draw, they're not going to fold to a 3-bet, right? So we don't really have any incentive to raise the pot in that case, because we already know they've got something. So there's really no reason for us to be raising the pot because they're not going to be folding. So instead of raising and getting a worse price on our draws, we just call. And then if we hit, we know they've got something, so we can bet big, or they've missed their draw. And we can sort of decide what we think is most likely. But that's where we can actually make a lot of money as well, because we already know they've got something, and so when we bet big.
So that's something that I've been doing, for example, with the nut flush draw. I wouldn't be doing it with a regular flush draw, but say I have a nut flush draw and some kind of very, very strong nut flush draw plus straight draw combo, right? On the turn, that is probably the only time that I would be raising it as a bluff.
Yeah.
And I would definitely be only doing it against the regulars more often than not, and wouldn't be doing it against the fish. Of course, against the fish, we'd want to just realize the equity and get there. But I would sometimes do it also against the fish, because even if you do have a draw, you would have a big percentage of the time then dominated, right? But I would only do it with the nut flush draw. I would not do it with a regular draw, because then at that point, it's not really point, because then you could be always getting it in as an underdog. But with the nut flush draw, sometimes when you guys both get it in, that is the only time that I would actually do it as a bluff so far.
Yeah. Interesting.
Not as a bluff, but as a check raise, right, on the turn.
Yeah.
Usually, my check raise on the turn, or a raise on the turn that I would have as well, is basically 2-pair plus, right? You're just trying to get the money in right now. But sometimes I found out that it's not bad to do it sometimes with some really good draws like that are nutty, not that you're drawing to a nut draw, because then even if somebody else gets it in with a worse draw, then you're winning.
Yeah.
In that percentage of the time. And then the other times, if you're doing against the regulars, you can get them to fold because they are thinking that you have 2-pair plus. Against fish, they're going to call you down, and then you're going to hate life if you don't hit. But you don't do it against the fish, of course. But against more regular people, regular people, against more regs, I found that to be profitable. Again, most of the stuff that I'm talking about is my experience from 9max, so this could be totally wrong. So please do correct me if you feel this is not how it works in 2NL.
I just know that I mean, people just don't like to fold in 2NL, right? 2NL 6 max. They're very stationary, like what you're saying. So it's either, I've been finding that even if I've got the worst, I don't have the nut flush draw, it's better for me just to check back with the flush draw a lot of the time, because they're going to be, if they're betting big, especially if they're betting big on the turn, they're going to be calling no matter what, right? Like, say if they bet small and I want them to fold. Actually, that's another thing that we can talk about, because it hasn't come up yet. But when players are betting small, they haven't hit very hard. It's just, like, they don't trap very often again. Like, players are small, they haven't hit very hard, and it can be quite easy to get them to fold off in those situations where they're betting small. They don't bet small for value usually, right? They're not like they're not thinking the way we're thinking. They're not thinking, I don't want to scare them off. They're just thinking, my hand's not that good. I don't want to bet. I don't want to invest a lot. So that when you re-raise in those situations, you can get a lot of folds when they're betting small. And what was the other one? The other one was, so players aren't, what was it? Aren't trapping very often. Maybe 3 to 5%, which it will be more generous, maybe 5 to 10%. I mean, definitely not. No, it's not that high. It's like 2 to 5% of hands that they're trapping. And so you can basically just remove it, because the way we play 2NL anyway is that if we don't have a good hand and someone's trapping, the pot's not going to get big anyway. Like, it's just not going to get big, because when we're c-betting like someone that's checked back, we're only c-betting like what you're saying. You're only c-betting half pot to get them to fold, and that's enough. Sometimes even 33 to 38% is enough to get.
That's usually what I roll with. I usually try to roll with like around 37-38%.
Yeah, totally. I've been doing half more recently. Anywhere between 30, 35 and half, I think, is okay. Half is just more reliable, because I think sometimes people just call you down with aces. Sometimes, I don't know. But so it's like, and you're only really losing money when you are coming up against those 2 to 5 players, that 2 to 5% of players that are trapping. So I think just doing half pot is better, just to fold out everything.
Okay.
But yeah, because it's not happening very often, and if someone calls when you don't have anything, like, you're not gonna bet again when in 2NL. Like that's something that, bluffing in 2NL, like, you do it very, very, very rarely, and only in spots that make sense. Like, and I found that you just, like, you don't need to be making a lot of money in bluffing, because you make so much money by just exploiting them like by knowing the hand ranges and knowing and just when they're doing this stuff, you can just steal the pots like pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Sweet. Okay. That okay. I'm following you along. Okay. That's okay. Okay. Well, let's continue a little bit.
We'll do let's do about 5 more minutes of this, and then we'll go look into some of your worst spots in Poker Tracker before wrapping up. Sweet. I can also give you my personal strategy document that I've been writing. The things that I've noticed about 2 and 5 now as well.
Sure.
But
good.
again, it's like it's for my play. Like you'll play specifically. Like you'll know things that I don't know, and it's more just filling in the gaps, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when we can talk about tilt as well, so I'll factor that in. Yeah. How do you feel about your hand range skills at the moment as well?
What do you mean by my hand range
reading,
skills?
Hand reading skills, I should say.
Decent. I usually feel in my gut sometimes that I understand what they have.
Yeah.
But I don't usually try to ever bluff, even when I sometimes know that it might have. Maybe that's what I should be doing. Like, for example, that hand that we had before. Yeah. So here right now is he checked back. Thinking here I can bet bigger to fold out a lot of his hands, a lot of his garbage hands, like ace-x that he could have. He's never going to fold a jack. He is probably never going to fold a second pair here. And we're going to go very polarized bet here, and I would pretty much give up afterwards on a turn. I would just do kind of one street because we can improve to a king as well.
Yeah. And I mean, if you sit out now as well, we can talk about that just really quickly because that doesn't happen a lot. Those situations. So on such a dry board, we don't actually need to bet much at all. Like what you're saying is that he's gonna call if he's hit anything because the board's so dry. So we can literally bet 1/3 here and then fold out most of their range because they just haven't hit. And you can save a lot of money by betting 1/3 because you're right. If he calls here, he's going to be stationary for the rest of the hand, and so you can't really do anything. So it's like if he calls 15, it's going to be exactly the same as if he calls, 7 or 6 here. You have to play it the exact same way. You just can't continue unless you hit a king. Or if you hit your backdoor draw. But yeah, it's like we're going to be playing the same, so we might as well just play it bet less. 1/3 to 1/2. It's going to fold him off basically everything that's missed anyway. So can definitely save money here, and that goes for every dry pot, even versus say if you were button versus the big blind and you get this flop, same again, can just bet 1/3. They'll fold off most of their range. Same every position, small blind versus big blind, everything. If it's a flop like this, you can just bet 1/3.
All right, sweet.
Yeah. I'll write that down as well. Where is it? Let's see. What was it? Jack. It was like Jack 5, 8, rainbow. 1/3. Cool.
So here we're gonna bet then. It's more for dry board. Plus we have our backdoor flush draw and we have our straight draw right now.
Sick. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't even mind. I don't mind the same, like checking back or doing the 1/3, because it's the same thing, right? He's gonna fold with everything that he misses. So if you check back, you got a chance of him hitting as well as you hitting, and then you can get a lot more money. And if he's hit, he's going to continue on the turn anyway. Like he's going to be betting on the turn. And I think there's something into it now as well that's different from every other stake, is that people just don't really look at bet sizing. So when you hit, and you know they've hit, you can bet so much bigger than you would on other stakes because people just aren't folding based on bet sizing. You know, they're folding based on what cards they're holding. And so if we just think of it like, let's just try and hit something and do it safely, and then when we do hit something, especially if it's not obvious, like a straight is not obvious that you've hit something, or a two pair or whatever, they're not obvious hands that you've hit something, right? Flushes are super obvious for recreational players, right? But every other draw is not obvious, so when you hit it, you can just be like, you can just bet big and people just don't believe you. Yeah, so definitely looking for those situations to find your draws cheaply and let other people hit their cards so that you can bet big is where you can be making a lot of money as well. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, actually. It's because like I like that, actually. I understand that.
Okay, I'll write it down as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though, because like I'm just kind of trying to think of it, because like in that particular, because I'm just kind of trying to think what they can have from the big blind. As you said, they're always going to have, for example, a very wide range.
Yeah.
Right, and then since they're already calling just to kind of see it, if they miss it, they're just going to fold, and they don't really care. You know, it's those couple of cents. You know, as long as it's not just the min bet, or like maybe 4 cents. I think as long as it's bigger than 4 cents, I think that they're going to be basically folding. I feel like the 4 cents is a psychological similar to 2 cents, and they might sometimes try to play back at you. But with anything larger than that, I feel that you're right, that basically they'll treat it all as the same and they'll just fold out.
Yep.